Oh God, it just kept going. It didn't stop. I was concerned for myself.
It was going, I shall rise again.
I am. Welcome back to another episode of Going For It. It is me and the mastermind, Mike Thomas. Again,
It's
riding
me.
the two of us. It's him. Craig may pop in here at some point, just for a warning. We don't know. He also doesn't know. So, it's just a gamble. We'll see what happens. I will learn now to have Mike Spillane just ready in the case of things like this happening. But we have the only mic we need right now.
Aww.
And that's Mike Thomas. He's got a trash stash, and we're good with it. We are good with it. I also have a trash stash, so we are trash stash brothers.
But yours is connected in the middle. Mine is like there's just a full-on half-inch of just nothing right under the nose. Just nothing.
Grows there. Yeah, see, but yours also goes all the way down. I have this weird, it doesn't go down any further on my lip, and it's real weird, and I don't know why it does that, but here we are.
You don't have to shave that part of it. You don't have to trim it.
I don't ever have to shave it, trim it. Sometimes these hair, I know it's bad when these hairs get long enough, and I feel them touching my lip, and I'm like, nah, I can't do that. Got to shave it, and it's just kind of how it works.
Yeah.
Or my wife tells me to shave it way before then, and then I do that because she rules my life.
I mean, no, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It's a good trade-off.
It is a good trade-off. She's the best. We are not here to talk about our lack of facial hair that is impressive. Craig is unfortunately the one that brings that game, and we don't do that. But we are here to talk about football, and I'm going to say we know more than Craig, even though he is winning the picks currently. We're here to break down Thursday Night Football. The Minnesota Vikings versus the Philadelphia Eagles. We both picked Philly in this game. Philly's home opening, and Minnesota lost in, I think I would venture to say, surprising fashion last week. I don't know if you thought that game was going to be a blowout, but I definitely did. I thought that Minnesota was going to whip up on Tampa Bay a little bit.
Yeah, I did too. I really thought Minnesota was one of the better teams in the NFC. Tampa Bay was one of the worst teams in the NFC, and I thought it was going to be a no-brainer Vikings easy win.
Yeah, so I read an article today that I think it was Rashid White had said that Baker came in at halftime and was like, "Oh, I figured out their signals for cover 2 and cover 3." So
what?
I don't know if it's more of a condemnation of the Bucks or the Vikings that he figured it out, and the Bucks only won by 3. He knew what they were going to run when he audibled, and they still only won by a field goal. Homie needs to take some notes from the Astros, and if you're going to cheat, win by a lot. Don't win by a field goal. And not that you're cheating. Obviously, it's all fair play at that point. You weren't videotaping practices or whatever, like the Patriots did that one time, or deflating balls, or better yet, let's not get into how many times the Patriots have cheated or whatever. But yeah, Minnesota feels like a bit of a surprise. I thought they were going to win that game, and I feel like this feeds into my narrative that Kirk Cousins is on the decline. What are your thoughts?
So I have to admit, I did not get a chance to really see much from Minnesota, Tampa Bay week 1. I've seen some of the highlights. There wasn't many.
Lowlights. They were lowlights.
They were the lowlights. I am going to go back to my default, which is I'm throwing out week 1. I'm just going to throw out the baby with the bathwater in this situation. The baby is Baker Mayfield, and the bathwater is everything else. So I'm still going to act as if Minnesota is one of the top teams in the NFC. I don't think they're top 2 like I did. I think it's really hard to say 49ers and Cowboys aren't 1 and 2 in the NFC and probably 1 and 2 in the NFL right now. But in terms of the NFC, Minnesota is going to be up there in that next tier. So I still think that they're really good. I don't know if they're good enough to get a win this week, though.
Yeah, I'm worried about their defense as a whole. They don't have a lot of playmakers on the defensive side of the ball, and their offensive line could not withstand that Tampa Bay pass rush at all. There was a lot of, I believe there was like 2 first half fumbles and a pick or something. Kirk did not look his best, but yet Jordan Addison got a touchdown. Justin Jefferson went off. TJ Hawkinson got his. Alexander Madison did fairly well. Like, all of the pieces were there for a victory, but you couldn't beat Baker Mayfield and the Bucks, which this Bucks is not the Tom Brady Bucks. They do not have the swagger or the attitude or the mentality that the Tom Brady Bucks had. Even last year, those guys were like, "Nah, we could win it all." I don't think anybody got into camp with Baker and was like, "Yeah, we could win with Baker." I don't think that's this guy's on his 4th team in 3 years or something like that. Like,
yeah,
I don't
nobody
think
thought that they were going to win.
And I still don't. Like, last week proved nothing to me. I agree with you. I think a lot of games were an anomaly. The only teams that really did well, like Dallas's defense, I feel like is one of the things you can point to and be like, that's not luck. That is a good defense. Just like you can point to Miami's offense and be like, that's not luck. That offense just does this. There's a lot of other things that happened in last week that I'm just not, Chicago didn't look great, but I think they're going to look better than that. Like, Detroit's defense looked really good, and I think you can count on that. Like, there's ebbs and flows for everyone, but I also know Detroit did a lot of preseason work. The Giants had a group practice with them and stuff, so like, I know that they were going all out, and this all just kind of leads back into our preseason talk of like, does it matter? I feel like it does. But if we're using week 1 as preseason week 4, I think that means that Philly's going to come into this game and rip some faces off.
Yep.
I'm worried. I'm worried about Kirk.
I think I think Philadelphia looked pretty good last week. They didn't dominate the way that we expected them to, but they still looked like the Philadelphia team from last year. They're a dangerous team. They've got skill players on both sides of the football. They're playing at home to Minnesota. I wouldn't have picked Minnesota if they had won and played well against Tampa Bay. I wouldn't have picked them to beat Philadelphia. So it's hard. There's almost no chance of me going the other way. And I will it be close? That might be the bigger question mark. Philadelphia, Vegas seems to think that this is a straight pick'em game because I don't see Philadelphia being favored at home at all, which is surprising to me that they don't have Philadelphia as at least like a 1 or 2.5 point favorite.
Oh my goodness, I would put all my money on Philly, every dollar I had. And like,
I said the same thing about Kenny Pickett last week, though.
That's true. But Kenny Pickett wasn't in the Super Bowl last year. Jalen Hurts, as much as I don't believe or don't have faith or whatever, that fucking guy can ball. He can play ball. And I'm trying to look up Jalen Carter's stats from last week because I think he had a nasty game where he had like 6 pressures, a sack, and he only played like 16 snaps or something like that. Like, he was disruptive. I can't find it. I'm trying to do it, but also pay attention. So I'm going to just stop half-assing 2 things.
Hi, welcome to the show.
One thing. Thanks.
I'm going to whole ass this thing.
I'm going to whole ass it. Just like the Giants last weekend. Just a big old ass. Yeah, one of the things that I think is what makes this not a straight pick'em game is Minnesota's defense is not even close to Philly's. If you want to say that Minnesota's offense is still going to score points, that's great. But Philly can score just as much as them, and their defense is not as good as Philly's. So if Philly pulls in 2 stops on their defense, their Minnesota's D can't do that. They're not going to be able to do that. And as the game goes on, we know defense gets worse because they get tired, and Philly's going to run the score up. They have a stable of running backs that are like thoroughbreds.
Mm-hmm.
They have the best wide receiver core in the NFL. They still won last week, and Dallas Goedert didn't have 1 catch. He had a target, and he got 0 catches. I know that because he's my tight end, and he got me 0 points last week. Fucker. Sorry, I got aggressive there, Dallas. I apologize. Please catch the fucking ball. Just want to get that out there. Yeah, this doesn't feel like it's particularly close to me. I know we do our score predictions, and I know we're not there yet, but like it feels big for me. I want to pivot, and I want to ask you a question, and I want you to get in the mind of someone who can gritty. Justin Jefferson.
Wait, Gritty, the Flyers mascot?
I wish. I love that mascot more than anything in this world. And I have a 1.5-year-old daughter. Don't tell my wife I said that. That's a complete joke. I love my daughter significantly more than Gritty, but like Gritty's number 2.
No, it was a good joke though. I mean, it was pretty good.
So Justin Jefferson, I don't know if you saw the picture of him and his dejected ass face on the sideline after losing this game, while still putting up 182 receiving yards or something like
it was
that.
Like 109 catches, 150 yards, I think.
Something ridiculous.
It was a great game. Great game.
Yeah, he had a sick line, but he had the saddest face on the sideline of like any human I've ever seen. And this dude is due a contract extension. If you are Justin Jefferson, you're looking to reset the market. You want to be the number 1 paid receiver in the league for obvious fucking reasons. You deserve to be. But are you willing to do that with a team like Minnesota, who looks like they are closer to the end of their window than the beginning?
Interesting. You know, that's a very good point. They are definitely at the end of their window. Even if Kirk Cousins plays for 3 more years.
At a high level.
At a high level. It's definitely, the window is definitely closing. He might not want an extension there. You're right. But I don't know. Are you trying to say like...
I have no connections. This is just things that I've thought about over the last little bit. I know they were talking to him in the offseason, and like TJ Hawkinson just got this big contract. They drafted Jordan Addison. They're doing stuff. Like Kirk is on for this year, but he's not for next year. I look at this team that just lost to Tampa Bay, who Tampa Bay signed Baker Mayfield, and he had a full-on camp battle with Kyle Trask to be the starting quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you just lost to this team. You need to overhaul your entire defense. You need Kirk Cousins or someone Kirk Cousins adjacent to make you competitive on the offensive side. And your offensive line has holes everywhere. This is not something that's going to get fixed in like 2 to 3 years. This is a 4, 5, 6 year process. You can win the division, but you're going to get knocked out in the first round like they did last year.
Yeah.
If
the O-line has holes on it because Dalvin Cook was running through it for so long.
That's true. He's a big man. He's very strong.
So are you saying that you think there's a chance that Jefferson doesn't go hard this year?
No, I think there's a chance Jefferson goes hard and says, I want to get out. I think
there's a
chance that he sets, I think that there's a chance he sets records this year for catches in a season, maybe even yards, touchdowns. It's possible because he's that good. And I think that he just looks at Minnesota and says, you either need to put stuff around me or I'm walking, because Kirk's 36?
He's definitely mid to late 30s. Not late 30s,
And
but
yeah, but like he's in his mid to late 30s, and
35.
that decline is coming. That drop off is coming. Like Aaron Rodgers at 40 isn't the same as Aaron Rodgers at 36. Like we know this to be true. We've seen it. Tom Brady wasn't the same at 41 that he was at 30, 37. That it does get harder and worse as you go, just because that's your body's breaking down. Minnesota would have to get someone to come in, step in, be a guy, and then also revamp their defense and their offensive line. It just seems like a lot. It seems like a lot, especially when you have that much money to a tight end and what will be a wide receiver. It just seems like a lot. And like maybe they trade for Kyler Murray in the offseason because Arizona's going to take Caleb Williams or whatever. Maybe that happens. But unless they get an influx of talent with the franchise, I don't see how that works for them. And I don't even see how they compete in this game with Kirk and Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson could get the Mario star, and I don't think that he's going to help them win this game.
Marshawn Lynch is the only one that can get the Mario star.
That's true. He can do that after he drinks Hennessy before the game, because like, why not? That's obvious. It's the most Marshawn thing I've ever heard in my life, and I love it. Skittles and Hennessy.
I think the Vikings at best keep it close. We will be lucky if they keep it close. I do expect Philadelphia to win this one comfortably, and maybe it's a close game because Minnesota scores late. That's my kind of overall prediction. I think Philadelphia goes up early and then holds on for a relatively easy win.
That offensive line is so good, and I just don't know that Minnesota has anything that can get to the quarterback or get into the backfield. So we've hit the part of the show that's score prediction time. I'm gonna go first because I just settled on it in my brain. I'm gonna say the Philadelphia Eagles win this game 35-17.
Whoa!
Yeah, I think it's gonna be an ass kicking. I really do. I think they're gonna get smacked.
I am going
not Giants smacked, but smacked.
I'm gonna say Eagles 27, Vikings 21.
Okay.
And it's the late score that gets it close.
That gets it to 21.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I could see that. But shit. Maybe the Vikings surprise us. Maybe we'll have a competitive Thursday night game, but I don't have faith for this Thursday night game. I don't have faith for the next Thursday night game, and we'll get into that next Thursday. Giants, I'm gonna cry. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Definitely gonna have Mike Spillane on for that one.
I kind of hope that the Eagles do jump up to an early start so I can turn the game off and go to sleep at a good time.
I agree with that statement. My wife came downstairs last week and was like, "Are you coming to bed?" And I was like, "The game ended 5 minutes ago." I was like, "I am just willing myself to get up off the couch." She's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, so, I know that feeling.
Yeah, I was like, but yeah, guys. With that being said, let us know your score predictions down below. Let me know personally how you feel about me speaking about Jalen Hurts in a positive light as opposed to the negative light I did earlier in the offseason. And go find that video and hate on me and tell me that I'm a stupid, dumb bitch boy or whatever. I don't care.
I'm sorry. His official name is Jalen Hulu Has Live Sports Now. That's his new name.
Sorry. Jalen Hulu Has Live Sports Now. Hurts. It's all in there. It's all, there's asterisks and quotations. It's all in there. But let us know down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you guys all back here.
Peace.